Working on your live stream? You're live? Okay, guys. We should be up and ready. Let me see if it's okay on YouTube. I think I see me. I think I see you guys.
Oh, awesome.
All right, they can hear you. I can hear you. We are all good to go. So hello, guys. Welcome to the Roundtable. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I'm saying that. I have Richard Unicorn Caller here. I am so pleased that he was able to join me today. But we're going to be talking about Azoth and skeleton key bosses. So.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be fun.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna do a little introduction for everyone so they know who is here. Let's start off with Matthew, if you wanna do a little intro.
So I am Matthew. I go by Spark in Wizard 101. Many of you, I'm sure most of your followers, Val, probably have seen me walking around the spiral somewhere at some point. And I'm here on your channel. This is wonderful. We finally get to have a nice chat and a nice roundtable with you. It's been like literally, I think, months in the planning. I know it's been a couple of times where I said, oh yes, we can do that. And then I said, no, we can't do that yet. So sorry for the delays, but it's been now arrived and I'm happy to be here with all of you.
Awesome. Yeah, if you guys know me, you guys know me. I am Richard Unicorn Caller. I make news for Wizard 101 and the free codes, of course. I relay that information to everybody. And it is such an honor to be here with amazing people. This is awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me out, Val. This is amazing.
I know, this is so much fun.
This is awesome.
All right, let's move it on. Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Kyle Wheeler, and I am the community manager for Wizard 101. And I'm also very happy to be here. And I love your sweatshirt, by the way.
Oh my god, thank you. I do have to give credit where credit is due. My mom made this for me. And she literally, she dropped it off this morning. She came in clutch. And yeah.
Wow.
But yeah. All right.
All
right, let's see who else is here. Artie, you want to say hi?
Yeah, hey everybody. Artie Rogers, Granite Heart, see me around sometimes. Design director at King's Isle. Happy to take a deep dive on Azoth, skeleton keys, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, awesome. I'm really excited. And last but not least, Cam.
Hello, I'm Cam. Festus. I stream on Twitch at King Festus, and I am a newish designer. I started about 8 months ago, and I guess I was involved in the Azoth and key stuff. So excited to talk about it.
Yeah, excited for you to be here. Oh my god, it's the first time like I'm talking to these guys with Richard too, so oh my gosh. We're sweating, I'm not gonna lie. But we do have a bunch of questions that we came up with.
Yeah.
With the help of you guys, of course. I know that there is a lot, so we have a lot. And I guess we're just gonna start things off with Azoth. So if you don't Richard, do you want to do a little Azoth introduction? Because you are the Azoth god.
I'm not the Azoth god. I just formed a lot of Azoth. And I formed so much, I formed my own raid key because I didn't want the guild to worry about that. And the raid key was eaten by Artifix. Now it's all fine. And we are also going to do a raid again Friday, so that will be fun. Hopefully we manage to complete it and, be nullifiers. But yeah, I had some questions about Azoth though, if they can be answered. But yeah, it should be fun. So, my one question, just out of there, will we see some more ways to obtain Azoth in the future, potentially? Any other sources to obtain it?
Yeah, I'd say probably. I mean, in general, I may let Cam take first cut at some of these questions, and I can step in or whatever, unless there's ones that you guys want me to specifically comment on. But really, like, you know, we looked at what Cam and I are doing is looking at every aspect of the game's economy, sort of in different sections and segments. And so we defined the guild's economy that is fueled largely and partially from Azoth. And we basically look at, you know, what do we want? What's the reward supposed to be doing? Like from a, you know, how are players supposed to? How do we expect players to encounter it, and how do we expect players to engage with it? And so, really, Azoth, we had been thinking it was in more non-guild related spaces. It was going to be something that would periodically appear, so that the not guild interested people might not be inundated with it, but they would run into it periodically and then be directed to Abner and you know, be exposed to guilds that way. And so as you're adventuring through and questing and doing mainline stuff, you know, you might run into Azoth periodically. But we didn't really think of it as like primary sources of Azoth. And, you know, some of the, Richard, you'd made some comments and suggestions that we're considering also integrating it into it. So again, if you are engaging in different non-guild related things, you may get some. But anyway, and you know, with skeleton keys, with Azoth, with anything, gear or spellements or kind of any part of the economy that deals with, you know, valuation or drop rates or success or kind of whatever, Cam and I basically we evaluate, make changes, see how it's reacted to, reevaluate, make adjustments, etc. So Azoth is just one of many things that we are kind of paying attention to. So
I like that. Thank you so much for answering that. Yeah, because I really want to get more Azoth as I, you know, progress and try and help out the guild. So thank you so much for answering that. That's awesome.
Sure. Cam, you got anything to add to that?
I mean, I guess we could just bring up that it is important to note that we can't have everything come from everywhere, in that more stuff we put on one like source, the more that I mean, the less of each thing you get. So if somebody's wanting to get something specific, then it gets harder and harder with the most stuff we put on, which is why we're kind of trying to reduce the amount of types of things on each source. But
that makes sense.
But and also like if there's any other future guild related content, you could assume Azoth would come from that.
And kind of the way that Cam and I talk about it, with just economy wise, and some of this vocabulary is kind of new that we're using, but we may talk about it in this way. You know, we talk about faucets, and that's just or sources of the resource or reward, and then we've been talking about either blended sources or dedicated sources. So in essence, I mean, and it all makes sense logically from an economic standpoint. Like time and effort put into something, you expect a proportional value to come out of it. So if I'm doing something, I expect the reward to come out of it to be equal to my effort. And so what we then do is we divide that sort of time value and then dedicate it to different rewards. And so like Cam says, if one thing results in every type of reward, well, the odds of getting anything is really low. And so we try to narrow that. But even in let's say a boss, or let's say the raid bosses, they drop a variety of different things. And so that means the more things that it drops, the less chance you have to get each individual thing, because the chance of it dropping has a percent of the value of the thing that is dropped. So what we've been talking about, especially with spellments and with Azoth also, is exploring the concept of a dedicated source, which would mean you do this thing and then all the time value is translated into that specific reward time. So if I want to go do this very specific thing, then maybe the only reward that comes out is spellments, in which case you could be more time efficient. But the problem is not everything can be dedicated, because there's too many things. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Cantrip chests are an example of something that's dedicated because that's all you're getting out of that, or the pet power and Azoth, like that's pretty much all. You're getting out of that.
mhm.
Oh, okay.
But well, I guess the pet power also gives you some reagents, so maybe not. But anyway, point is, yeah, there's some, as you've kind of stated before, sort of passive ways to get it, in that it might be blended with other sources, but it's not gonna be the place to farm it. Like not the
Yeah.
most efficient.
And I've been kind of mapping out and reevaluating Wizards economy, which is really big and complicated. And I started it a couple of years ago, and so we're continuing to move through it because we have ideas about how we want to use gardening to do things or crafting or whatever, but we haven't actually gone to audit those portions of the game yet. And so when we get there, because I knew like there was some with Beast Moon, I made the Beast Moon plants and the Beast Moon planters because I was trying to isolate a portion of gardening away from the rest of gardening, just to kind of experiment with the hasty harvests and then more, quicker turnaround, limited harvests and things like that, as a sort of investigating that system. Because you had mentioned like, could you have some passive ways to earn it, and certainly we do think that gardening has a place, gardening has value. We should lean into that once we're ready to kind of really kind of assess, reevaluate, make our design recommendations, and audit that gardening economy. We can look to kind of grow into that. Grow into gardening.
Of course,
my
take
gosh.
all the time you need for that. Val, did you want to ask the next question? I know you had some questions too.
I have a question, and I want to know if you guys have an answer for it. And that is, how much Azoth is it to unlock the full guild house?
So that's I have an answer that's just a number, obviously, but I feel like it needs a little context.
I get you.
Yeah, so first of all, there's as those of you who are really into guilds and upgrading your guilds know, there's different efficiencies of refining Azoth. So like to get one of the spiritual elemental or harmonic ones, there's a recipe that takes 10 to give you one, and then there's more efficient ways to do it. And obviously it's important to note that some unlocks are balanced towards like 12 people in a guild, and there's others that are later that are balanced towards like a full 50 people in the guild. So for one person to do it would obviously take a very, very long time, but that was never our intention. So with that, so at the I guess the lowest possible efficiency, it would take 162,452.
Oh, wow.
Yep, there you
That's
go.
definitely a number.
Wow.
Number.
I know it doesn't seem like much,
Oh,
and it's just
not at
it's just
all.
a start.
Just to start.
It's just a start.
Light work, guys. We do that easily.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Wow. That is
And
awesome.
it was insane for me to hear. I don't remember who, but someone on Twitter said we unlocked our full guild house. That was like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, my lord,
Wow.
that's so fast.
Yeah, folks are fast.
Wow. Man, should I ask the next question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I mean, this could be a yes or no question, but will there be any alternative uses to Azoth besides like the current guild unlocks and guild features? Like, will that tie into like crafting or something like that? No, this could just be a yes or no, honestly. But I am curious though. Will there be other ways to use Azoth? Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's the other way to use it now, which is casting it, which is kind of cool. No other resource you can do that. So that's kind of interesting. But I don't think so. I think if it's mainly supposed to be for a guild.
Okay.
And if somebody is not super interested in a guild, then they can sell it to the bazaar, and I'm sure people who are in guilds would be happy to snatch it up.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so-
absolutely.
So just a little bit behind. I mean, so a little bit behind the thought process behind it. So yeah, Azoth is supposed to be the guild-related resource, and it's supposed to be each individual is accumulating their own Azoth, and then they can use that and dedicate that resource within the guild in whatever way they choose. So you retain some agency over where or how your guild evolves, or even like what you might get with it. Like like Richard, you used a lot of Azoth to create a guild key for or a raid key for your guild, and that's really cool. And so like the guild is supposed to be reflective of different things that you can, or the guild house is reflective of the different things and areas of interest that Wizard has for different people. And so we felt like if you get each individual person gets their own Azoth, then they can influence the development of their guild house in the way that they see is best. And you can talk to your other guild mates and say like, hey, hey, there's a fishing island or something. Let's work on that, or let's work on the the PvP island, or kind of whatever. And then you use Azoth to do that. And then as you kind of grow and unlock different features within it, then you'll have other ways to potentially use that Azoth, like whether it's with sort of guild only crafting opportunities and things like that. So
wait, is there a fishing island? Interesting.
Yeah, maybe
Well,
one day.
not at the moment. There's
Yeah.
We're talking about what island for next year.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Alrighty, well, I guess I can just go to the next
Oh,
one.
Val.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so is there a possibility that there might be adjustments to the amount of Azoth needed to unlock guild islands or raid keys? Or is it pretty much set for good? I know that there are a lot of comments about the amount of Azoth that is needed.
Well, Artie, do you want to start this one?
Yeah, I can start this one. I mean, like I said, Cam and I, we will, what we do is we model economies based on expected player behavior and player participation, and then that's what's setting the amounts. And then, as Cam mentioned, the guild house expansion and things are built for different levels of effort based on number of active guild members.
Yeah, basically.
And so we always we always are reevaluating it based on feedback and sort of the data we see in terms of interactions with the guild house, and we'll make adjustments if need be. Part of it is that we, because it's a complicated system. So not only is it about the amount of Azoth required, but also about the different sources that you can get Azoth. If it becomes, if it's easier for people to kind of passively generate Azoth as they are doing other things in Wizard they enjoy, then the actual sort of dedicated effort diminishes, and then I guess the perceived burden will be lessened. And so it may be that, so when we hear feedback of like, oh, it's too hard or too grindy to do this or that, Cam and I map out sort of a loot map economy for it in terms of defining the sources. And so we have to look at, are the sources diversified enough? Are the sources strong enough? Are these faucets strong and diversified enough? Or are we simply asking for too much? And this is also goes to the analytics team as we base our models off of player engagement information, so player engagement data. And so in that case, if the player sort of profile begins to change, then the economy might change as a result. So yes, we always look at these things. They are always open for modification. It may not be exactly in the way that seems solve the problem that you might be experiencing, but we are responsive to it.
Okay, that makes
That's
sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I will be the next person to answer. This is an interesting one because I have a question regarding what was the reason for making Azoth to be this type of treasure card instead of like its own like basic reagent, you know? I am curious about that though. That is
I mean-
something I am curious.
Yeah, and I was pretty happy with this actually. I thought it was a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, it's a cool idea and it's a cool treasure card spell.
Uh-huh.
But the idea is that, you know, when we didn't want the non-guild interested player to be stuck with something that they couldn't realize any value in. So what we wanted to do is create something that could be used, could be traded, or could be sold to the auction house.
Yeah, I
And
noticed
so-
it's being traded a lot.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
treasure card, making it a treasure card was the perfect solution, because then
Yeah.
like as a treasure card, like we also, you know, another part of it it's not only it's tradable, but between just, you know, from a non-guild interested to a guild interested, but also within a guild, you can trade it, because what we expected was that you might have players in your guild who are, you know, high level crafters and max level crafters that would end up being the people who would refine your Azoth for you, and so guilds could pool it into these people and have them refine it. But anyway, that was kind of the reason.
Oh, okay. All right, that's awesome though.
And also, not every guild has a Richard who will farm the entire key by himself. And you know, it's nice, like if you got 12 people wanting to do a raid, and you're like, okay, how about everybody go grab like 30,
exactly. Yeah, it's like a team effort.
yeah. So not like the trading within guild is really helpful for stuff like that, because you don't have, you know, not just one person has to farm for it.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's a good answer. I like that. That's pretty cool. Val, you want to ask the next question? This one's pretty interesting.
Okay. All right. Let's get in with the questions. So,
You got this.
so Azoth storage has been a real concern for some of us hardcore farmers. Are there any plans to add some storage features to the guild house to help our Azoth collections?
If I could ask a question about the question, and what are you storing Azoth for?
Honestly, it's just what the issue that I've seen a lot of is that people have a lot of treasure cards already, such as like empowers, and when they go and farm, it just gets clogged up so easily. So a big complaint that I see a lot in my community is that we need more space.
Okay. So you can donate it to like a guild lock to, like, if you're unlocking an island or something, you could put it in there. That's, you know, a way to quote unquote store it. Is it that you're not sure which one you want to put it in and you just want to store it until
Honestly, I think it's just like a general question. I don't personally really have the issue because I just have a separate account that I put my TCs on, but I do know that like Richard has suggested the idea of just like having like a little bank or something like that.
They said no to the bank.
No to the bank. No
They
bank
said
for
them
us.
Consumables. They're made like as consumables, so you shouldn't hoard them. You shouldn't hoard them.
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, so yeah, if just say for example there was a bank in the guild, you would already have to go to the guild and put it in, which you can already do with the guild, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we do get this question, and it's you know, not directly related to Azoth, as people want more treasure card storage, and you know, Ratbeard and I always come back with the same question. It's like, you know, what do you need all these treasure cards for? Like, can't you already store 1,000? Or isn't that the limit currently?
Yes.
I think it's like
So-
999 or something, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. You know, I'm not sure if you all had this issue or if this is just from other people, but like, why 1,000? Like, get rid of some of these things. Are you ever going to use them? I mean, it's like a hoarder problem or something. You know? Like, come on, guys. You don't need this newspaper from 1987. You know? You gotta get rid of it.
Yeah,
Wait
I'm never.
Young wizard.
I think it
Yeah,
might actually be a hoarding problem. That's honestly a point that I've never even thought of.
Yeah, I've definitely had a ton. I've been at max TC space on so many characters, and I'm just like, like there's these things that like I had one time. I had like over 100 bad juju TCs, and I'm like, I might need them
my.
someday. And I'm like, well, when am I actually gonna use these? I have no idea.
That's when the decathlon came in.
Yeah, I don't know. When I farm Storm Titan or something, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, even like you know, we play on Friday mornings, and so you know, we're just in Arc 1 or whatever. And you know, I have trashy TCs I don't pack or whatever, but I don't get rid of them either. I guess I should. I guess I'm on my way to being a hoarder, but you know, I should just get rid of them. But, yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you for the answer. I guess
Sure.
I'll ask the next question. But do you guys have any, like, as a team, have any words of advice for like the players who may be feeling like a bit unmotivated to farm any Azoth? Like, do you have any words of encouragement for them?
Words of
Gosh.
encouragement.
Words of encouragement. It's
Yeah,
like,
got
I
you
don't know.
guys.
You know,
Man, it's like the raid is fun, man. Go have
Yeah.
fun, you know? I don't
Well,
know.
I would say the guild will kind of. I'm trying to think. So like, if the guild is trying to raid or something, and they're like, "Hey, let's go farm." I think the most fun that I've had Azoth farming is definitely with people. So getting people together is definitely a good time. But also with the pet talent, it's kind of done in a way where you can kind of get some Azoth while you're questing and not really have to think about it too much.
Yeah, I do that when I'm watching anime, so.
Yeah, that works too.
Well,
I like that.
And you know, we've talked about this before, just from a guild perspective. One of the things that the community was kind of concerned with the guild was that, you know, the rewards would be. I mean, and this is a real tough sort of line for us to kind of walk along, but they're worried that, you know, the guild would be the result of like the raid or something would be so valuable that they would feel kind of overwhelmed with obligation to run the raid. And really, the guild is supposed to be for friends to get together and kind of have fun playing Wizard, and then getting together to overcome kind of challenges, a group-based challenge, so you guys can get together and have fun attacking the raid or whatever. I mean, you shouldn't feel like overly burdened or obligated.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's partially why we put in the timers, is because we didn't want people to kind of, you know, grind themselves to death on it. What we wanted is, and don't forget, like, there's another thing that you know, I've been talking to Gary about in terms of improving it and then also bringing more awareness to it. But you know, the message board is a way that the guild and adventure parties are supposed to coordinate play sessions. So like Cam says, it's, you know, it's fun to run around and, you know, whether you're helping other people quest or just farming Azoth or kind of whatever. But you know, the purpose behind the message board was you can post when and where you're gonna and what you want to do, and then guild members can go in and click that they're going to attend, and you can kind of see who's all going to show up and stuff. And you know, and that it's supposed to be something that folks can have fun doing together. And so whether it's farming Azoth or unlocking something, like we require I think 10 cantrips to unlock an island, because we wanted guild members to all have a chance to witness its unveiling. And you know, so it's that, just in terms of like when you're seeing things added to guilds, or when you're thinking about feedback for guilds and guild features and things, just, you know, try to keep that kind of in mind as context for it. We really want it to be something that's fun, not high pressure, not anything like that, just giving stuff for people to do together. And that's why the guild house, each area of the house eventually is going to be covering all the different fun things that people like to do in Wizard. So you can kind of focus your efforts, or a portion of the guild's efforts or attention, on whatever you guys kind of have fun doing. So, you know, it's not like PvP. The gear there is, all the gear is based off the new gear template that we made in spring. So it's all in relative power, relatively equal. So anyway, that's what my words of encouragement would be: is take it easy, have fun, do what you have fun doing, collect your Azoth, get your people together, you know, have fun doing stuff.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when I grinded for the decathlon. The gauntlet took forever, but I gave myself a little bit of leg room to kind of take breaks and stuff like that. So I will say this, that this Azoth has kept me busy in the waiting for Novus. So it has kept me very busy. So thank you so much for answering that question. It actually kind of segues us to Val's question. And Val has a very interesting question if you want to share.
Wait,
Yeah.
before you do that,
Wait,
I'm so
Kyle
sorry,
said,
I'm
Kyle
chiming
said
in.
something.
Well, yeah, I see people or I say people. There's one person, but I'm sure there may be more. They're wondering if you wanted to farm some Azoth while streaming. That's gonna be funly difficult, but I'm sure you got this. Did you want to
Yeah.
farm some
Yeah,
Azoth?
absolutely.
Yes! Yes! I'm farming Azoth right now. Yes.
If it helps, yeah, Richard was farming Azoth as soon as we got in the call. It was amazing.
Although
So,
pummeling Lost Souls is also really fun.
yeah, that is also really fun. Yeah.
Richard, do you want to pick the boss? Or
You
whatever
know-
you want to do?
I would say the Wisteria boss, but I don't think anybody's ready for that.
I was thinking a little bit more
Yeah,
stone gazy, maybe?
Yeah, something a little bit more fun in a sense. Yeah, let's try that. We would
Gaze is
an
a lot of fun.
Aquila if you have access. Yeah, I think people can port there. But yeah, Azoth. We love Azoth.
We love Azoth.
While you guys are running over to the get some Azoth, there are a few Discord questions that I do have here. I can only answer a few because I am no designer, so I have no knowledge. But the first one is, have we heard when the next world is coming out yet? I figure that we can totally answer this because we've said it's going to be coming out by the end of this year, so you will be seeing it,
Ooh.
but we can't give you any specific date yet.
Mhm.
The other question
Oh, okay.
I got was
Yeah.
you went, oh, okay. the other question I got is, Kyle, do you like Novus? Well, it's not out yet. However, I am very, very excited for this world. We keep getting art dailies, which are little emails that we get from the art team, and just we get a lot of info kind of behind the scenes, obviously, of how Novus is doing. And each time we get stuff, my mind keeps getting more and more just blown. The story is incredible, but oh my god, it just looks incredible. So can't say too much more than that. But yeah.
Yeah, I respect that. All right. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm really
Oh, and I do
excited
have a
too.
question.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's oh god, it's such a world. It's such a world. This question is going to be for either Kim or Artie. This is another Discord question. Are there any plans to add an attic to the guild house? I'm not sure if this
Oh
question was
yes,
asked
my
yet.
one viewer had that question. Yes.
I believe there is. I think that's one of the improvements that Gary has made for this next update. I think players were saying that they've like advanced moved something into the tree and then they can't get it anymore, stuff like that.
That.
So to address that, I think that is coming, I believe.
Yay.
So, yeah.
Very nice. Those are all the questions for now. If you guys have any more questions, ask them to chat. Test room soon, question mark. Can't tell you anything. Sorry.
It's like
It
it's
deserves
like
a really good response.
Kyle's like man from coming man from the street, coming questions from the street.
Hey y'all, I got some
All right,
questions.
back to the studio.
Back to your probably amazing stream.
All right, so moving on with our Azoth. My question is, will there be a way for us to see the amount of Azoth each guild member has contributed? Could there be badges and stuff for those who contribute like a lots of Azoth?
Ooh.
I don't know if I have a lot to say other than like, yeah, that's something we've thought about and that would be pretty neat. But there's
Yeah.
no like immediate plans of that. for it.
Oh,
So yeah, because
interesting.
so my concern is that again, is just something that we want to try to keep the performance pressure
Mm-hmm.
down, and so so my only concern is that people would either be ostracized or they might be feel punished if they're not keeping up with the other people. So really, I mean, because we discussed it. We thought, maybe that would be cool if we could see like who the top donators are, and so maybe we could do something like that without
Yeah.
sort of revealing the numbers exactly. So then yeah, sure, you might see the top 5 donators to this island or the top 5 whatever, and then yeah, maybe you won't feel too much of this, guilt for not kind of, I don't know, contributing as much as someone else. But anyway, that's really the thing that I kind of keep in the back of my mind is, we want to try to keep it as, try to keep it from being too competitive. Within the tournament
Yeah,
itself,
that's completely understandable. I do get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that response. That's a good one. Because I was like, ooh, a leaderboard for the guild. And then I was like, oh boy, everybody's going to compete for it now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. I mean, it's really tough,
Yeah.
right? Like when people, because, guilds have been something that I guess have been discussed internally for years. I only rejoined the team a few years ago. And that was one of the concerns is that, several concerns, but one was the competition thing and one was the subdividing the end game community might do something to threaten what is really a unique and interesting community of Wizard. And so we're mindful to both of those things. So we want to make sure that we try to keep it, casual, cool, experience like you get elsewhere in Wizard and make the guild experience similar to that. So we're trying to stay within the spirit of that. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I respect that. That's awesome. It kind of segues to my other question. This is a little bit more of an advanced question. This is kind of like a yes or no, but like some players have kind of dealt with an issue of like farming a bunch of Azoth, then they donate it, and then they get kicked from the guild. So like, is there any chance of like a system being implemented where like if you donate like a large chunk of Azoth, you cannot be removed immediately after? Like that might be a little bit more advanced, but that's a pretty interesting one though.
Yeah, we can consider that. The problem is, and because we had a similar type question about allowing friends to visit the guild house and stuff. I mean, it's similar in this way where, what we want is to allow the guild owner to be able to manage who's there. And so, if you donated a lot of Azoth, but then you become, who knows, toxic or whatever, I don't know that, it's regrettable in some of these cases. Like there's another case where it's like, oh, I donated valuable furniture and I get kicked or kind of whatever. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is make sure that the guild owner retains the ability to manage who is in their guild house and in their guild, especially if they have a falling out and it becomes kind of a toxic environment. We wouldn't want them to have to wait some amount of time just because the other person did something, So, it's just kind of it's an unfortunate thing that is just the nature of people being in groups and working together. Sometimes there's falling out and then, that's what happens though.
Yeah, all right. I respect that. I like that. I guess I could like segue to like another bonus question. Like, will we ever get like any additional guild slots apparently, or like maybe potentially if possible?
Currently, so not currently. And the reason is there's this number called Dunbar's number, which essentially is a number that is used sometimes to define the size of manageable social group sizes. And so we were using that as sort of a guidepost for some of the amount of people that could go into an adventure party and then the number of people that could go into a guild. And so what we don't want to have happen is we don't want to ask someone to maintain more social connections than is reasonable. Okay. And so we want it to be, so that's why. That's why. And so, again, these are things that we can modify in the future if needed, but that's sort of the reason why 50 was a number of people that that you can be expected to be able to keep regular contact with. As soon as you start getting much higher, it's hard to know who these other people are,
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden you're in 3 guilds or something, it's 150 people, you might not know, half the people you're even doing anything with, and then it kind of begins to undermine that thing that we're talking about, which is guilds are really about like friends getting together, playing
Yeah.
Wizard, and then and overcoming sort of group related challenges.
Mhm.
And so it's really important that there's a reasonable expectation that you could know and have a relationship with each person in your guild. And as soon as the number gets too big, it's just it just I don't know if it's maintainable.
Yeah, no, I like that. Thank you so much. What I also like is that how, like, if you're on the same account and you join on a different character, it takes up, like, the same slot. So I do like that. I actually do appreciate that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But, yeah, let's talk about some skeleton key bosses now that me and Val are farming some Azoth. We're in Stonegaze Aquila. So, Val, what are some of the current ways to get gold skeleton keys?
Okay, so the current ways to get gold skeleton keys are through a beast moon crafting, decathlon crafting, PvP crafting, if you want to call it that, the spiral scene, the spiral showcase, daily assignments at day 15, gold key boss fights like we're doing right now.
Oh, yeah.
And the loyalty shop. You can get 3 every month if you are a member.
Ooh, okay. What's up? I like that. Oh, I guess I'll segue that into the question. What was the process behind coming up with some of the cheats for some of these skeleton key bosses? Because all of them are very interesting. They got their own little cheats and stuff. It's very interesting.
Well, thank you. So I was I guess in charge of, or like I designed this most recent wave of skeleton key bosses.
Oh, I love them, by the way. I love them.
Amazing, Cam.
Thank you. It was really, really fun. It's kind of like it's so I guess this kind of is the principles of making any boss, but we basically start from a and sometimes it doesn't work out this way, but we at least start with going like, okay, so what is the story of this character and what kinds of cheats would make sense with that character, right? Like, for instance, Lady Stonegaze.
That's what we're doing
everybody
right now.
knows that, like, she turns you into stone if you look at her. And I was like, so how can we do that in Wizard?
Richard definitely has experience with that.
So you have a seat. Okay.
It was so funny. The first time we were doing this boss, I think we did it together, and he just got turned into, like, stone, and it was so funny. That was the funniest thing ever. I love this boss.
Yeah, it's a fun boss. It's one of my favorite bosses. And the Wisteria boss, the Celestia boss, the Dragonspire boss, all of them are just awesome bosses. Thank you so much for designing them, Cam. And can I say that drop rates are amazing? Amazing. Don't touch it.
Yeah. Don't
awesome.
touch it. Yes.
I keep hearing that, like, oh guys, Ki accidentally put in a good drop rates. Don't tell them or they'll nerf it. We know that it is valuable, but so are the keys.
Yeah.
And so it should feel good, and it should feel like a more rewarding experience, and I'm glad it does.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. It kind of made me like the gold skeleton keys. Like, it kind of reminded me of Omen, like Shadow Omen, you know? Good vibes, good vibes. So, Val, you want to ask the next question, because this one's interesting.
Okay, so this one kind of has to do with the spooky season. And since Halloween is near, a lot of players have expressed wanting to have more events. So could there possibly ever be, in addition to the skeleton key bosses, in particular some with some more themes maybe?
So themes as in like seasonal themes, or like,
yeah, seasonal themes.
Okay. Possibly. I would love to update some Halloween content. But
I noticed the ghosts look different.
Yeah.
Different?
The ghosts, the little tiny ghosts that roam around, I noticed they look
Skulls
different.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was like, has this always been here, or am I insane? Yeah, that was spooky. They have like little skull faces on.
Yeah.
So one of the key bosses that was shifted to gold was actually the Krampus, which we haven't seen yet this year. But so that is one. And yeah, I mean, it is an interesting to do, and I would love to do more. But there's with anything, there's just always like a bunch of stuff that are great ideas, and there's only a limited amount of time. But you know, that's
Understandable.
Yeah. I absolutely love it. I love it. So, just a quick question: what is your favorite skeleton key bosses? Go. What is your favorite one?
My favorite is probably Drowned Dan in Celestia, because that one was really fun to design, and it's like kind of like a 3 phases fight, which is kind of interesting in a way that's not just it reviving itself. And I really wanted to make that that boss such that players would use different spells that they're not used to using, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I like that Drowned Dan fight. I haven't done it in a while, but it is a very interesting boss, again, with its own like cheats and stuff like that.
Yeah, but also Lady Stonegaze is really fun.
Lady Stonegaze is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, blade stacking and then using the blindfolded hits is just so much fun to do.
Yeah, I like Stonegaze. Stonegaze is fun. Yeah, again, these skeleton key bosses are amazing, man. You did a great job. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right. Should I ask the next question, Val? Should I?
Yeah. It's a big one.
With the discontinuation with wooden and stone keys, what would you recommend players do with them? Because I have a few wooden keys that I don't know what to necessarily do with, but I am curious as to what you guys think I should do.
Good question. So
Hold on to them.
Yeah, I would say hold on to them. Yeah, hold on to them, because I don't know if we aren't really. I don't think our plan is to completely get rid of them. Like you can still use them on the bosses that are still wooden and stone today. And I guess just hold on to them is the main answer. We're still working with that system.
Okay.
All right. I'll keep them. I'll put them on my wall next to the raid key. All right. All right. Val, you want to do the next one?
Okay, I have a question, and it is, will the team up feature be coming back soon for key bosses?
For soon, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if Artie does either, but it is something that we need to work on for sure. The how the level scaling works and stuff is why it doesn't work as we thought it might. So
So
go ahead.
It's a tricky question because it involves sort of how the level scaling tech works currently and how the skeleton key boss tech works and how team up works, and what they don't do is work well together. So, and the level scaling, I might want to just fundamentally revisit how we do level scaling. It feels like I would rather explore level scaling the wizard versus level scaling the monsters, so that we don't have to necessarily worry about that. But I don't know when it'll be back. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's on the list.
Okay.
I mean, it's on the list, and so I don't know. Dang. Yeah, I can't promise anything.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
It's tough to say.
All right. Next question. We're gonna do some speed questions because we are getting to an hour. So I'm gonna run you guys with some speed questions. So what will happen to the old gold the gold key bosses, like the old ones? Will they be turned into stone key fights? Question mark. What about those?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the plan.
That's the plan. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. All right.
Yeah, like any and I did kind of want to touch on the discontinuation thing. It's not necessarily that they're going to be discontinued. What we want to do is try to update what the gold fights are, and then stick to that. But we also didn't want to necessarily retire the stone and wooden fights. It's just that we weren't planning to make any new ones, and so then the question is, at that point, what is the future of the wooden and stone keys? And that's still TBD, but it's not. I think discontinuation is not currently what our idea is. So.
Okay. All right. Hey, that's all I need to hear. Hey, hey, thank you so much. I like, yeah. All right, Val, you got another good question, Val. You got a really good one.
Okay, so players have really been struggling with the current drop rate of gold keys. Are there any plans to make the drop rate of gold keys when farming the bosses a little bit higher, maybe?
Well, I'll touch on this, and then I'll let Cam go into it, because it touches on two different things, right? So first of all, the skeleton key system is, as I mentioned before, Cam and I we take some of these older subsystems, and then we kind of do some design archaeology on it to understand the original intent of the system, to see how much it strayed over the years from its original mission, and then to kind of revise the system, either modifying its initial mission or kind of refocusing it back on its original mission. So one of the things the skeleton key boss's original intent was two different things. One was to encourage exploration of the worlds, and the two was to give everyone an occasion to come together and do a multiplayer instance. And so with that in mind, we looked at faucets or sources for gold keys that would reinforce one or both of those goals. Like, either it should be rewarding exploration, or it should be rewarding multiplayer experiences. So that's one thing. The other thing to mention is that when looking at the gold key, what we wanted it to become is a real exciting moment when you got one, because its value is really high. And so, kind of as we mentioned before, the way we look at drop rates and reward acquisition rates for PvE, at least, is that the amount of time or effort you put into a thing should be directly related to the value of the things coming out of it. And so, because the gold keys are so valuable, it's, we can't really, the drop rate is then influenced by that. And so, so anyway, so those are kind of the two things. What we are exploring new ways to give players access to keys in the new world coming up.
Oh.
And that, so that'll be something.
Wait. Ooh.
Yeah, so like that's something we've been talking about over the last couple of days. But anyway, so again, just like with the guilds, and just like with the skeleton keys, right? The skeleton keys or the guilds or kind of whatever system, it kind of has its place. It kind of has its niche as to what type of players would be interested in it. What type of behavior is it kind of rewarding? And in this case, it's exploration and playing together. So that's why you kind of see it in the Beast Moon, and that's why we had it in the raid, but then we decided to take it out because it was worth so much. It was worth so much, and and this becomes a debate about a sort of blended faucet. So like the people were wanting higher drop rates on things other than the skeleton key. So we decided to pull the skeleton key out so we could get the drop rates of everything else to go up. So anyway, it's just something to kind of keep in mind. So when you're thinking about like, hey, I wish there were other sources for the skeleton keys, you can think about, well, the skeleton keys are supposed to be rewarding exploration. They're supposed to be rewarding multiplayer play. So here's an idea that kind of does one or both, one or either or both, and then we can look at that.
Yeah, thank you so much for answering that. That's
Sure.
awesome. Yeah, that kind of segues to another quick question. Like, will we ever see any other like crafting recipes for gold keys potentially? Like, will there be more outside of decathlon crafting and beastman crafting potentially? Maybe some more
Um,
recipes?
Okay, so so recipes from what? Like from like
From Eloise or Zeke or some other NPC.
well, yeah, but like using what kind of reagents?
Oh, oh,
Because
that's another good one.
because the reason that they're craftable from the events that they are is because
Mm-hmm.
those events help towards the goal. And it's and with so like if we just said, hey, you can craft a key using like mistwood, for instance. Um,
Uh-huh.
Mistwood has been like a lot of the reagents that exist in the game have been around for a long time,
Oh yeah.
and we don't really fully know where they're coming from or what the value
Mhm.
is. So, like players might just be sitting on thousands of those, and then
Oh
we would.
yeah.
So that's why we started with crafting using reagents that are more controlled.
Oh, okay, that
But
makes sense. That makes sense.
anything's possible, I guess.
All right, all right. So I think that wraps it up for like the main question. Now we got some silly general questions about Wiz. Again, little speed ones, but a big question a lot of players have been wondering about for years is whether or not we will ever be able to change our Wiz's name after creating them. Again, silly question.
Wait, wait, after years.
So a name change.
Well, I know. It's on the list. I mean, it's on the list as a it's a quality of life thing.
Yeah,
Now some of it is, it's this one's a tough one. Like I've been working on MMOs for
Oh yeah.
27 years, 25 years.
Uh,
And part of the problem with allowing for free name change is that you don't want that sort of, because even though Wiz controls sort of the combination of names, there is you do sort of establish a reputation based off of your name. It's recognizable. It's how you're identified within the community. And so it can cause some community, I guess, chaos to an extent if names could change too much. And so it's really kind of for me at least, it's sort of I'm uncertain as to the impact, the community related impact it would have to allow everyone to kind of change their name freely. Now, I had talked to Gary, it related to guild names, because guild names that came up with guild names, like should we allow guilds to change their name? And I think the idea at that point was that we should allow guilds to be able to change their name once. So it might be something where we, if we were to kind of go into this, and it is on the list because, like you said, it's been something the community has requested for a long time. I haven't actually focused time on how exactly we would want to do it, although I know it's on the list. But if I were to do it, I would have the same sort of concerns I had with allowing the guild to change its name. And so if we were to do it, it might have the same restrictions. So you could change it once, but at some point, you need to just sort of establish your identity in the community and allow people to kind of learn who you are. Eric Stormbringer and some of these other guys, they have their names and their identities and stuff. And anyway, so there you go.
Okay.
I feel like that also goes like hand in hand with the like color change and name change. Obviously, you got the gender change. Obviously, those are things that we hear and we would love to do. It's just a matter of like when can we actually fit that into the game, basically.
Hey, take all the time you need with it. That's all I gotta say.
Love that. Okay,
Val?
it is 6 o'clock, but I do have a couple quick questions that I can throw.
Okay, Kyle, throw 'em.
I think we could finish these out if you guys don't mind. I mean, I don't mind, but I don't want to keep anybody beyond whatever. It looks like we only have like 3 or 4 more questions, so we can go through it. Yeah.
Okay. So.
Okay.
Does anybody want to read them or
yeah.
I got answers.
I guess if you want to read them, you can read them. Go for
sure.
it.
Okay, so Bob, question. I don't remember who asked it, but they were like, Kyle, and I was gonna make this a kind of a generic question. How do you like your job at King's Isle? Before anybody answers, I already have one. We have, and I say we as in community team, have a plan to do something for you guys soon. Not this month, but soon, to talk to you guys about a lot of the community members that were and still are in the community that joined King's Isle, and it should be really fun.
Ooh.
So we are planning on doing something with that, and that answers that question. um, the next question, I guess this is for anybody. Do you think a setting can be implemented to turn off Halloween decorations in the commons, kind of like classic mode?
Interesting. I
feel
don't
like that
see
would
any
totally be
Halloween
already-
decorations.
Oh,
Oh, you know, like the
no.
ghosts and all
Do you
that.
not
I
like
yeah, like the
Halloween?
ghosts.
do not like Halloween.
The only issue I would have with it is just how to do it in a practical way,
Hmm.
and because you wouldn't be able to do it per holiday, right? Like you couldn't say I want to see whatever 4th of July or whatever, but I
Right.
don't want to see Halloween, because
Yeah.
then it would be unmanageable because we do celebrate a number of different holidays, and then I don't know if I would want you to turn off all of it. I mean, we have different
ghosts?
things planned we have different things planned for like future Wiz holiday birthdays and stuff like that, and so
Would you like?
I don't know. I mean, I hear what they're saying, but I
Yeah.
don't know, man. It's kind of fun to see some stuff. I get it. Maybe you're tired of the Halloween stuff. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Great response. Next question. This is for Artie and Cam. What does level scaling the wizard instead of the monster mean?
Well, and also,
Interesting.
I do see the other two questions up there, and I don't know if we'll finish these, and then I did want to give a chance to those others. Okay, so this is something that is that I've been thinking about is so one of the problems that we're running into is we want to give higher level wizards the opportunity to adventure with their lower level friends, but even as I'm going through and playing on Fridays and stuff, people will see me as dev and come and help and whatever, and they're oftentimes high level, but what they do is they just AoE everything dead immediately, and it takes like 2 seconds, and I feel useless, and it doesn't really, I mean, I know they're there to help, and so I appreciate the help and everything, but it kind of it makes I don't know, it kind of makes the experience less dramatic, I guess, for myself. And so we've been looking at, and other MMOs have the ability to not sidekick so much, but just to kind of scale the power of the person helping. So and it is super preliminary, just very touching on it, because right now what we've done, people will see it, is we have this level scaling thing where we try to scale the content appropriate to the lowest level wizard that comes in, and the reason is because level appropriate content is balanced to be level appropriate. So it's like, okay, this content is going to be fun for players of the correct level. But if you're way too high a level, it becomes less interesting. It's like the old lore master fight, which took 30 seconds, and people would just do it thousands and thousands of times. And I don't know, it's just one of those things where it's like, I would like to let end of content people help their friends level up, and do it in a way where they're more of a companion and a partner in the adventuring, and not just a carry. They're just not carrying everybody. Again, super preliminary, just stuff we've been talking about, because we use, we're using some badge restricted or level restricted loot tables on different monsters to kind of disincentivize that behavior. But really, I would like to let it happen and just not have it be like I said, a carry situation, which just sort of diminishes the quality of the experience for both people involved, really.
Mm-hmm.
So
I noticed that too because I've been doing team ups for years, and I think I helped over 2,000 teams. And I know it's like when I go to Wizard City, it's a storm wizard that does a tempest, and I'm like, okay.
yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
there's what's fun. I just end up sitting there passing and waiting for the combat to be over, and I'm like, I'm just this passive participant. And,
Yeah.
it's just not as fun. So it's something we've been talking about, but if it ends up coming up as something that we're seriously considering, we'll be engaging you guys
Mm-hmm.
with feedback on it and what you guys think and kind of what our goals are and all this other stuff to make sure that the system fits Wizard and stuff. So anyway,
I love it.
I love it. Love it.
And then the final question: will Aphrodite stay in Darkmoor?
Ooh, that's a
Right?
very good one. Very good one.
Aphrodite.
Stay in Darkmoor. I don't see why it wouldn't. Yeah.
yeah.
Is
Should
there
it,
any
like-
context
yeah.
behind that question?
Yeah. Is somebody
I just
saying it
saw that
shouldn't
pop up.
be? Should we move it? I
I'm
don't
saying we
know.
need to move it.
Yeah, right. I don't know.
Yeah, it's those types of questions that you're like, well, I mean, do we need to get rid of it? Do we need to? Get rid of it?
I'm guessing. My
Why
guess
not?
is this is in reference to Ixcax Cursed Wing, who is taken out of the end of an instance or encounter to be in Azteca. That's my guess because I've heard this before, and that was a little different in that it's, first of all, it was at the end rather than the beginning, but also it wasn't like the zone that it was in wasn't super specific to that character, whereas Aphrodite is. And I mean, it's possible, but I don't see the urgency to move that one as much, because of the a number of reasons, I guess.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
And I do have one more question for.
You
Cheer
said that last question.
and- No. I have one more. It's for Val, and it's for you,
Ooh,
Richard, as
okay.
well. It's for both of you. Did you guys enjoy this stream? Like, you guys did such a great hosting. Did you guys enjoy us being
OMG.
here and the
I
questions?
loved it. This was amazing.
Yeah, this was a
This
lot of
was
fun.
Awesome. Yes.
Awesome. We were super happy to be here and literally answer all your questions.
Hey, can I touch on the last two that we missed up there? One from Val, and one from Richard. I can run through them really quickly though.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one, or Val, you want to read it, or I can read it, or whatever.
Sure, I can read it.
Okay.
Will we ever see the addition of different level elixirs like the level 50 elixir we have now?
Yes. Expect something soon. It's not. It is like the level 50 elixir,
Okay.
but not like the level 50 elixir. It'll be something different, but I think everyone will be happy with what it is. And so anyway, just
Okay.
coming soon.
Hey, that's all you gotta say. All right, and then the very last question of this awesome roundtable, because you guys have just been awesome. Will we ever be able to trade treasure cards from one of our wizards to another without having to go through another person, possibly for them to be like traded through the shared bank potentially?
Just
Maybe?
Interestingly, I saw this question, and then we had our kind of programmer design lunch today, and I talked to Gary about it. And well, we're going to look into it for something soon. Like, there are a number of different things in the spring update, the coming spring update, that I kind of wanted to look at in terms of quality of life things related to the bazaar, the bank, things like that. And this is one of them. And there's also some things with the trading of treasure cards and just you know, how that interface is, and then different things with the bank, shared bank interface, like the reagent tabs and stuff like that. And then this one came up, and I mentioned it to him, and he said, like, yeah, I mean, it's not free to do, so but it is something that folks have been aware of. And so now, again, when we're going to look at different areas of the game for improvement periodically, and so in the spring, I'm hoping to look at the bazaar and the bank, and maybe trading treasure cards is something that we can kind of freshen up and and help. So
Yeah.
yes, soon, hopefully, but
Okay.
certainly ever is, yeah. Well, ever, yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, you guys heard it from Artie. All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much for answering all these questions. Me and Val are honored. Thank you guys so much for this. This
Yeah,
has been
honestly.
awesome. Yes, yeah, this was
They're
amazing.
lots of fun. Yeah, and as always, we're more than happy to Matthew and I originally came up with the idea for the roundtable because the KI lives were always so quick that we never really had time to deep dive into any sort of design questions or discussions or anything. And it's all thanks to you guys for having the interest and passion to kind of host this thing and have us on your show and be interested to talk about these things. We love talking about it. So, as things come up that you guys want to chat about, just, talk to Spark and,
Awesome.
we can line it up.
Yeah.
it's cool.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, thank you guys for having us. Thanks for showing up and answering our questions. It really does mean a lot. I was so nervous in the beginning, but you guys really made us feel comfortable, and I really appreciate that above everything else. So,
Yes, thank you guys so much.
10 out of 10 to you guys. But yeah, I guess. Is there anything else anyone wants to touch on before we head on out of here? I don't want to keep you guys for any longer, so.
Well, this is Spark. I thought I'd chime in here. I have been part of the chat this entire time, but Artie and Cam and the rest of you have been so wonderful that I just haven't had anything to say. So I'll just leave it to, this was wonderful. We love talking with the community. We hope to do this again with you, maybe on another topic, maybe on this one, part 2, who knows? And we'll have plenty of roundtable opportunities into next year, certainly. KI Live, we're going to be announcing that tomorrow. And so you all heard it first. I mean, it's the last Thursday of the month, so there's really no surprise per se, but there it is. And yeah, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, stuff about the rest of the year, and our hopes and dreams for the future, or something like that.
Awesome.
Yay!
Awesome.
Yeah, yay! Big round of
Oh, and I saw
applause.
somebody there. Yeah, there is a code. We just released a new TikTok for Novus. # Novus is forming. It's I am everywhere.
I am
love that.
everywhere.
Am everywhere.
That was good. That was
for
close.
Novus.
That was,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was really good, honestly.
Maybe I'll be a voice
Next time we'll
actor.
be very proud.
Oh,
Alrighty,
man.
guys. Well, I can let you all go. Thank you to everyone for being so amazing. This was so much fun. And yeah, I guess I will catch you guys next time. But
You
yeah,
got
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
bye.